Okay, let's talk about internet at sea. Are you frustrated by, connections that just crawl the second you're away from the coast?
Oh, yeah. Trying to run things, stay in touch, maybe even just stream something. You can be really hit or miss. Okay. Slow, unreliable, often cost a fortune.
Exactly. That feeling of being cut off, even with all the tech we have now, it's a real problem, especially for people who rely on connectivity out there.
It really is. And, for so many maritime operations, good internet isn't just nice to have anymore. It's pretty essential. Communication, crew morale, critical systems, safety.
Right. Which brings us to today's deep dive. We're looking at a potential game changer. Eutelsat OneWeb. Our source is a really interesting article from Concord Marine Electronics. They seem pretty convinced that OneWeb is a serious contender, maybe even a better choice than Starlink for certain maritime uses.
Concord definitely knows their stuff when it comes to marine tech installation. And they keep mentioning this partnership with Marine Data Solutions. MDS sounds like they're key here too.
Yeah, so that's our mission today. We want to pull apart what Concord is saying, figure out where Eutelsat OneWeb really shines at sea, especially compared to Starlink.
Exactly. We want to help you, the listener, figure out if this is maybe the solution you've been looking for. Is it really that robust enterprise-grade connection? Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first. What exactly is Eutelsat OneWeb? Lay it out for us.
Sure. So Eutelsat OneWeb, they're now one company operates what's called a low Earth orbit satellite network. Oh, LEO network.
LEO, okay. Like Starlink in that sense.
Exactly like Starlink in that sense. And the scale is pretty impressive. The article mentions they have over 600 satellites up and running already.
Wow, over 600. That's a lot orbiting up there. Creates a dense coverage layer, I guess.
That's the idea. And being LEO, that's the secret sauce for speed, right? Lower latency.
Because they're closer to Earth.
Precisely. They orbit around 1,200 kilometers up. Compare that to the old geostationary satellites, way out at 36,000 kilometers. It's a much shorter round trip for the signal.
Makes sense. Less travel time for the data.
Right. Think of it like local deliveries versus cross-country shipping. LEO is the local van. It's much quicker response times.
So that means smoother video calls, less lag when you're sending big files offshore, maybe even using remote monitoring systems effectively.
Exactly what the article highlights. Smooth video conferencing, reliable VoIP. So internet phone calls, quick file transfers, real-time data streams for monitoring equipment, all that stuff becomes much more practical.
And Concord positions it directly as a robust alternative to Starlink for this.
Absolutely. They're framing it as a serious competitor, particularly for demanding maritime users.
Okay, so let's get into that comparison. Starlink is the name most people know. How does OneWeb stack up according to this Concord article? They have that useful table.
Yeah, the side-by-side is helpful. First difference they note is satellite altitude. We said OneWeb is around 1,200 kilometers. Starlink is actually even lower, about 550 kilometers.
Huh. Lower still. Does that mean Starlink always has lower latency then?
Theoretically, maybe slightly. But the article suggests that for the target maritime user, other factors might be more important, where OneWeb has an edge.
Like who they're aiming the service at.
Right. The article says OneWeb is really focused on enterprise, maritime, and government users. Starlink is broader consumer, small business, and maritime.
So does that more specialized focus for OneWeb translate into concrete advantages?
It seems like it, especially when you look at security. Concord points out OneWeb offers AES 256-bit encryption, plus support for static IP addresses and even MPLS support.
Okay, wait. Let's break those down. Starlink has encryption, right? But not the other stuff.
Starlink uses encryption, yes. But the article states currently no static IPs or MPLS. And for bigger operations, that can be a deal breaker.
Why are static IPs and MPLS so important at sea?
Okay, so AES 256 is just really, really strong encryption. Think military grade. Very tough to crack.
Got it. Secure data.
A static IP means your vessel has a fixed, unchanging internet address. Super useful if you need reliable remote access back to the ship's systems for diagnostics or management.
Ah, okay. Like a permanent phone number for the ship online.
Kind of, yeah. And MPLS, think of it like creating a private, secure highway for your data between the vessel and your headquarters ashore. Essential for companies needing guaranteed secure data flow for sensitive stuff.
Right. That makes sense for commercial fleets, maybe research vessels, anyone handling valuable or confidential information. What about the hardware? The dishes on deck?
Concord talks about Intellian marine-grade terminals for OneWeb. For Starlink, it's their flat, high-performance kit.
Intellian. That's a well-known name in marine comms, isn't it?
Very well known. They specialize in building gear that can take a beating at sea, the motion, the salt, the temperature swings. Using Intellian suggests OneWeb is serious about providing rugged, reliable hardware for this market.
And both systems, it seems, can be plugged into a bigger network using this MDS Blender thing.
Yes, that's a really key point in the article. Marine Data Solutions MDS has this Blender device that lets you combine OneWeb, Starlink, 5G, Wi-Fi, whatever you have, into one system.
For backup, basically.
Backup, yes, but also more than that. It manages the connections, can combine speeds. We'll probably dig into that more.
Okay. And support. Looks like both offer 247 support via MDS.
Correct.
So summing up this initial comparison, Starlink might win on maybe lowest potential latency and brand recognition, maybe cost sometimes. But OneWeb, based on this, seems to be pushing network stability, those beefier security features, and this hybrid flexibility.
That's the takeaway from the article. Starlink's great for many. But if stability, enterprise features, and that hybrid capability are your top concerns, OneWeb is positioned as the stronger choice. It's more than just basic internet access.
Let's talk more about that hardware. Concord mentioned two specific Intellian terminals for OneWeb, the OW10HM and the OW11FM. What's the difference?
Okay, the OW10HM is what they call half duplex. It can transmit or receive, but not both in max speed at the same time.
Sort of like a walkie-talkie, one way at a time.
A bit like that, yeah. It gives you speeds up to 30 millibps down, 6 tables up. It's smaller, lighter. Good for maybe lighter users or where space is tight.
Makes sense. Smaller boats, maybe less intensive data needs.
Exactly. Then you have the OW11FM. That one's full duplex. It can handle high-speed uploads and downloads simultaneously.
Ah, okay. Like a proper phone call, both talking at once.
Right. And the speeds reflect that. Up to 100 millibps down and 20 millibps up. It's bigger, heavier, but it's built for the heavy lifting, constant HD video calls, streaming, shifting large files regularly.
That sounds like the choice for a commercial vessel, a yacht needing top-tier connectivity, something like that.
That's how the article positions it. And crucially, both are built tough for the sea. They mention an IP66 rating.
Which means?
Highly resistant to dust and powerful water jets. So sea spray, rain, washing down the decks, it should handle it. They're also designed for marine mounting and integrating with other onboard network systems like CNX.
So purpose-built, not just adapted, reinforces that marine focus.
Definitely. These are clearly engineered for the maritime environment.
Okay, so Concord installs this rugged Intellian terminal. Now you need service. That's where Marine Data Solutions MDS steps in. Activation, support.
Correct. MBS is the partner that handles getting your OneWeb service turned on and manages the airtime plans. And they provide that 24/7/365 support, which is pretty critical when you're offshore.
What do you actually need to give them to get activated?
The article lists a few things. You need the terminal's serial number, or IMEI. That's its unique identifier. You need your MDS customer ID. And, very important, you need that clear 360-degree view of the sky above 37 degrees elevation.
Ah, right. The satellites need to see the dish, and the dish needs to see the satellites. No obstruction.
Exactly. That clear view is non-negotiable for these LEO systems.
And once it's running, MDS offers more tools through an online portal.
Yeah, this seems like another key differentiator. Their client portal lets you monitor your data usage in real time. You can set usage limits, maybe to control costs or allocate data.
That sounds useful.
And it even allows bandwidth prioritization. So you could say, make sure the captain's video conference gets priority over crew streaming, for example. That level of management control is definitely leaning towards the enterprise side more than your typical consumer plan.
Okay, this MDS Blender, it keeps coming up. It sounds pretty sophisticated. How does it enable these hybrid networks you mentioned?
It's really the brain of the operation for hybrid connectivity. It takes multiple internet sources, OneWeb, maybe Starlink, maybe a 5G connection when you're near shore, Marina Wi-Fi when docked, and pulls them all together.
So you plug all your connections into this one box.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And then it does smart things with them. Hybrid routing, sending traffic over the best path available at that moment, load balancing, spreading the demand across connections to improve overall performance.
Can it actually combine the speeds?
Yes, the article mentions bonded speeds. By using multiple connections at once, it can potentially push your total available bandwidth over 1 Gbps.
One big. At sea. That's huge. It's a significant amount of bandwidth, yeah.
Right.
And it handles failures automatically. How so?
Instant failover. If, say, your OneWeb connection drops for a second, the Blender instantly reroutes traffic over Starlink or 5G without you even noticing an interruption. seamless backup.
Okay, that's impressive. Reliability built in.
Plus, you get WAN prioritization telling it which traffic is most important. Live monitoring of everything. You can even limit bandwidth per device on your network. So yeah, combining OneWeb with the Blender gives you this really robust, resilient, high-performance system.
It definitely makes OneWeb a strong Starlink alternative for mission-critical stuff.
It's not just about speed, it's about intelligent management and resilience. Got it. What about the cost side? The data plans for OneWeb.
MDS offers a pretty wide range of plans, according to the article, starting from 50 gigabytes a month, going all the way up to 15 terabytes a month.
15 terabytes. Who uses that much data at sea?
Well, think about large passenger vessels, research ships collecting vast amounts of data, maybe offshore energy platforms.
Yeah.
The range suggests they're trying to cover everyone from moderate users to very heavy data consumers. And what's included typically? Any standard perks across these plans?
The article says all plans come with the option for a static IP, that feature we discussed. You get monthly usage reports, access to those real-time dashboards in the portal.
So good visibility into your usage.
Yes. And interestingly, Concord notes the pricing is competitive with Starlink.
Really? So you're not necessarily paying a massive premium for the enterprise features?
Apparently not, or at least it's in the same ballpark. That makes the security and management features even more attractive if the cost is comparable.
Speaking of security, let's circle back to that. Concord really hammers this point home for OneWeb in the maritime space.
They do. It's clearly a major selling point for their target market. We mentioned the AES-256 encryption. The static IP option adds another layer, a known access point.
Right.
And the article also highlights secure CNX firewalls being part of the setup. Firewalls are crucial for blocking unwanted access and cyber threats to your onboard network.
So it's a multi-layered defense.
Exactly. Encryption for the data in transit, static IPs for controlled access, firewalls protecting the network itself. For commercial operators worried about protecting sensitive comms, securing VoIP, safeguarding remote diagnostics. This comprehensive approach is presented as a major advantage OneWeb has over Starlink, which is described as more consumer-focused in its security posture.
Okay, makes sense. So someone's convinced they want OneWeb. What about putting the dish, the terminal, on the vessel? Any key tips from Concord for installation to make sure it works reliably?
Yeah, they offer some practical advice. Number one, placement is key.
Yeah.
Keep it away from radar antennas and other sources of strong electronic interference. That can mess with the signal.
Okay, common sense, but important.
Absolutely. Also, they say never paint the terminal or coat it with anything. That can degrade performance.
Oh, pretty it up. Got it.
Make sure it has good ventilation around the unit too. Helps prevent overheating. And finally, they reiterate, if you need constant heavy upload and download, go for the bigger OW11FM full duplex model.
Solid advice. Follow those, and you maximize your chances of good performance even when the sea gets rough.
That's the goal, reliability in demanding conditions.
All right, the article wraps up with some FAQs. Let's hit the highlights there. What were the key takeaways?
Sure. They basically summarize the core arguments. Why is OneWeb a preferred Starlink alternative for some? It boils down to that enterprise security, the hybrid network compatibility via MDS Blender, and the dedicated marine hardware.
Okay, reinforces the main points.
They explicitly say, yes, you can use OneWeb and Starlink together through the Blender. That hybrid approach is a definite possibility.
Good to confirm. What about the fundamental difference for ship use?
The FAQ answer really puts it simply. OneWeb offers more secure, managed, enterprise-friendly services. Starlink is generally more consumer-focused. It's about matching the service to the complexity and security needs of your operation.
And they confirm the satellite numbers?
Yeah, over 600 operational satellites. And they reiterate that MDS is your go-to for activation and support.
And people can talk to Concord directly for advice?
Absolutely. They encourage reaching out for a consultation to discuss specific vessel needs.
Okay, so let's try and crystallize this. Looking back at everything we've pulled from the Concord article, what are the standout strengths of Eutelsat OneWeb as a Starlink alternative at sea?
I'd say three main things emerge strongly. One, the robust, layered security features designed for business and operational needs. Two, the powerful, seamless integration into hybrid networks using that MDS Blender for resilience and performance.
Right.
And three, the use of high-quality, purpose-built Intellian hardware that's truly designed for the marine environment.
It definitely paints a picture of a service aimed at users who need more than just basic connectivity. where reliability, security, and advanced network management are really high priorities.
Exactly. For those kinds of maritime operations, OneWeb, especially delivered through Concord and managed by MDS, looks like a very serious, possibly superior contender.
Which leads us to a final thought, perhaps, for you listening.
As our reliance on data grows exponentially, even at sea, is a service like Eutelsat OneWeb, with its focus on security and robustness, shifting from being a nice-to-have upgrade to becoming, well, a fundamental necessity for truly modern maritime operations.
Something to think about. How critical is your data? How secure does it need to be? Definitely worth considering in light of what we've discussed.